Good afternoon, Dip Nation. My name's Dave. Welcome to the Too Much Dip podcast. It's Monday. We're going to do some podcasting here. We're going to have some fun here. We're going to do some banter, some joking. It's going to be great. Let me start by introducing our guest in Madison. Co-host of the show, you know him very well. His name's KJ Ellis. Hi, KJ.
I'm here without you, baby, but I can't remember the rest of the song.
Wasting with me in my dreams.
I don't know the significance of that, but yeah.
I don't know. Listening to that Cole Campbell right beforehand, I feel like I've got to punctuate every sentence with baby. Like somewhere between Coach O and Cole Campbell. Like those two gentlemen know how to finish a good sentence.
Why haven't
baby.
you played that clip on this yet? Why don't you just go ahead and let it rip? One of y'all, whoever has that.
Here, I can play that referenced clip. The reason being, I was doing a little refresh, so I won't show everything. That the people at home listening should check us out on youtube.com/toomuchdip on Thursday night at 6:30. We'll see if I release this one then.
I'm booming and I'm booming, and these baddies love how I'm moving, baby.
Hell yeah.
The confidence.
I think the only person that likes Cole Campbell more than Dylan and Micah is KJ.
I'm moving and I'm grooving. Come on.
He's the original entertainer.
He's given us like at least 5 usable sound bites for this podcast.
He's been a big part of the show.
Big
up to this point.
He's basically a fourth co-host.
Well, KJ, I just wanted to say hello.
Should we try to get him on a live stream?
No.
That
would go very poorly.
Probably not a great idea. I'll tell you what's a great idea. Having Dylan Shivery here.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Dave. I just imagine him being on. Like, what would we talk to him about? Like baddies and coffee and...
Yeah. I mean, that is what it would be like, yeah.
That's pretty
Probably
much.
not a lot of hard-hitting sports.
I love to talk baddies with Cole Campbell for just a couple hours.
You could pick his brain.
Yeah. He's much better at baddies than I am.
Trade stories.
Sure. But thanks for the introduction, Dave. I am extremely happy to be here. The vibes are right.
You know, I think I know somebody else who's extremely happy to be here because this person has been champing at the bit to get some sports takes off. It's Big Game Brett Merriman of Cold Stove fame and Mail-In fame.
Thank you, Dave, for the intro. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on to talk a little college football. Just college football. I'll dip out after that. No pun intended.
Ha!
But happy to be here. A lot of college football on Saturday. Attended my first UT game. Famously a college who plays football.
Yeah, that's right. That's what they are.
I'm just excited to be here, talk some football and hockey season, which is now officially upon us. Shouts to your 2-0 Dallas Stars.
First place Dallas Stars.
What about my Knights?
Not going as well.
Well, it's their record.
I don't know.
They won the first.
They're not undefeated.
We just know it's not going as well.
Whatever.
The Knights are currently they're 3-0. Excuse me. I apologize.
This fucking guy.
Also,
And you host a
Frauds.
a hockey pod, huh?
I do. I don't pay as much attention to the Western Conference yet, except the Oilers are off to
You need
a.
You need to start paying attention, man. They're doing some big
look
things out there.
over there in Vegas. Yes.
Salt Bay's out there doing his thing. Dave knows.
How'd Micah do on the live stream?
Oh, you're looking at me.
I mean, whoever wants to answer.
Micah did great, man.
Did he go off?
He was fairly subdued for Micah. He did plug himself about 16 times, but
On camera?
Y'all got that on video.
yeah, we did. It was disgusting.
Yeah, that's great. It's probably because up until that point, I mean, we had a 4-1 Cowboys team
Mhm.
with a coaching staff that was doing a pretty good job, so he didn't have anybody to steam on. Why did he go off on like Mizzou football? They're ass.
Yeah, they stink. I don't know.
He went off briefly on, I guess we talked a little Dan Snyder, so he did agree that both Jerry Jones and Dan Snyder were pieces of shit. So, and
Okay.
those two can't change for the record.
I think we posted that clip to the Too Much Dip social accounts, which you can follow. Go to the Twitter, at Too Much Dip on Twitter, at Too Much Dip on Instagram. It might be at Too Much Dip Podcast. I don't really know. I should probably check that and put it in here in the copy, but you can find it. We're the ones with the nacho. We're the only Too Much Dip that has Dippy as our mascot.
Is it a
as we-
nacho or is it a chip that's been dipped in queso?
I was looking at Brett, and since we did so much flaccid nacho talk, I said nacho, but it's actually just a chip dipped in queso, not necessarily a nacho. So thank you for correcting me. That was incorrect.
We are famously not the only logo on Spotify, though, where the chip is being dipped in queso.
Correct.
Whoa.
There's a copyright
It's breaking news to me.
case that I'm sure we could win very easily.
Yeah, a young hip hop artist just kind of commandeered our logo, verbatim. Not even a derivative piece. Just took
No.
it. Just control, save as, or whatever.
A move so audacious, I just have to respect it and let him do his thing.
Randy thinks it's really funny. Are you looking at it?
We will not be pressing charges, apparently.
We'll see about it.
I'd like his explanation as to why our queso has Cool Ranch sprinkles on it and not the chip. But maybe he knows and we don't. I don't know. It's
That's
interesting.
Rotel, KJ.
It's interesting.
I think we only go after that guy if his music really takes off.
Yeah.
You know,
I think we should have him as a guest picker. Just not, just be like, hey, man, you want to hop on, pick some games?
at
And
the end
not,
of it, it's like, by the way, man,
by the way, we know what you
what
did.
the hell's your problem?
Why'd you do that, man? Anyway,
Good stuff, man.
we're going to do a lot today. Surprisingly, Brett is not on to talk hockey unless he really wants to.
Well, you don't know a lot yet. It's early.
It is early.
It's just exciting that the season is here. Please listen to Cold Stove Podcast, a Wash Media podcast on this very network that myself and NRD, NHL Rumors Daily, we break down the latest and greatest in hockey. News, notes, speculation, rumors, the whole nine.
I look forward to your pretenders list,
My hockey one?
your hockey pretenders.
Oh, I thought you were referencing my infamous football one.
No, we're going to get to that very
Okay,
shortly.
sure. But hockey, yeah. Cold Stove Podcast. KJ's a big fan. Listens all the time.
Huge NRD guy.
Why have y'all not had KJ on yet?
Well, the Milwaukee Admirals are not an NHL team, so if I do have an AHL adjacent podcast, KJ will be the guy for it.
Let me know when we're Frozen 4 time. I'll give you ground floor info on one of the
NCAA
nation's best
hockey,
college
Northeastern, top 10.
hockey programs.
Who wants to kick off college football talk?
Let's just jump into that Tennessee-Alabama game.
You don't want to do
I think
Texas
that
Iowa State?
deserves
It was
it.
a really good game.
Oh, we can?
No, we don't. I'm just kidding.
Texas caught the dub.
Let's do Tennessee.
You guys watched this Tennessee-Alabama game?
I did.
Yeah.
I got to say, I was on a golf trip, and a buddy of mine acquired something that allows you to. It's just like a piece of plastic, but you can put your iPad in it, and it mounts to the steering wheel shaft of the golf cart, and you just basically have a screen that's just floating in your cart.
That's sick.
It was real sick. We're just watching football, playing golf.
You guys were living out there.
It was pretty solid, pretty good signal for East Texas.
101 total points scored in that game, non-overtime. 101 points.
Pretty wild.
That's a big tally for an SEC game. Hendon Hooker is the real deal.
Brett, was Tennessee on your fraud list? What was your list? Where
No,
were
Tennessee
they?
was very much on the might be really good list, and they have, as I mentioned today, graduated to the R really good list, along with the Michigan Wolverines.
Okay.
But no, Tennessee was an original member of that list, along with Ole Miss, who is still on it, as they have not beaten anybody of substance yet. That changes if they beat LSU and A&M the next couple weeks. They're up on the list.
I was saying earlier, I fuck with the Tennessee vibe pretty heavy. I like the creamsicle orange. I mean, minus the Clay Travis affiliation, of course, which brings them down a couple notches. Their stadium is phenomenal. Neyland.
Neyland. I don't
Is that how you
really
say
know.
it?
I don't know. I've only ever read it, to be honest with you.
I even like their checkerboard end zone. I wish they extended all the way to the end zone line. I think we talked about that the other day.
Yeah, are you sure it's creamsicle though?
No.
No, that wasn't a colorblind joke. That was, I think it's more Kraft mac and cheese powder that has not been mixed in the noodles yet.
I don't know, man. Their hound dog they have, Smokey, I believe his name is, dope. I like their vibe, man. I don't know. It's a non-threatening football program overall. I mean, having a great year, obviously, but on the whole,
Yeah. Well, and the University of Texas jacked their entire thing. So
did they?
No, I don't know.
Because the state starts with the same letter. Is that why?
Correct. Yes. That's what they'll tell
In
you,
orange.
at least.
Yeah.
The original UT.
Yeah, they're both UT, technically speaking. Yeah, I fuck with Tennessee a little bit.
Give me the rundown on the field rush. What happened there? Did it not go well? I noticed here in the copy it says, really bad at rushing the field? Question mark?
So we've had a few examples of this year. I think we can all agree there was a field rush early this season that set the bar very, very low for a team that should know what the hell they're doing, and that is Texas Tech rushing the field against then 25th ranked Houston. And I believe we all recall that Texas Tech was not ranked, but favored at the time, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So poor decision to rush the field against Houston, who now has 3 losses on the season. Follow that up with App State rushing the field against Troy. I think they fall somewhere in the middle because this was somebody that they were also at home and favored against. But it was a Hail Mary, an electric play to win the game. The only reason I do appreciate it is because you get multiple shots of players like helping fans onto the field. Like their quarterback, Chase Bryce, is like giving a hand to like students hopping over the wall onto the field. I appreciate that. Nice touch, if you will. When you've got a stadium that holds 107 to 110,000 students and, attendees, things can go really, really, really well or really, really poorly. And I think CBS stuck with this because they were kind of hoping to make sure they had footage of some shit going very wrong. Because we got a lot more live shots of a stadium rush than I think we get in any other scene. And it wasn't just because they were like, oh, this is so majestic. Look at all these people. I think they were expecting like somebody to get fucking gored by a field goal post.
Interesting.
The move to not only tear down the goalpost, but to then carry it out of the stadium and then down the street is excellent. If I could be 22, 21 and be in Knoxville that night, just an absolute scene. Do we know where those goalposts ended up? They should have taken it to a frat house or something and maybe installed it in the backyard.
It's always a frat house with this guy.
It always comes back to the frats.
This dude frats.
Just do it in the river or something? Is that what happened?
The report was they ended up in the Tennessee River, I believe, which seems like a poor place for them. And now Tennessee is crowdsourcing a new goalpost fund, which seems weird when they have $1 billion endowment.
Huh.
By the way, when talking about the Tennessee vibe, I should have mentioned Rocky Top. Just a great stadium atmosphere song.
Yeah,
I'll make a dirty joke out of this. By the way, Smokey, the hound dog, is a blue tick coon hound for those at home. A blue tick coon hound. Okay. Awesome dog.
Very cool.
He's verified.
What?
On Twitter.
Is he? What does he tweet about?
That's a great. You said the blue tick coon hound, so I didn't know he had the blue.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's actually just the name of the dog breed.
God. Okay.
Yeah.
I got a question. Are they really trying
reference
to get people to donate for new goalposts?
Yes.
They're going to jack up tuition, aren't they?
Is this an official University of Tennessee thing?
Tennessee,
or did some wise guy
wise guy con man is going to just
that's what I'm thinking. Like we're donating to
nation.
some dude named like Cliff or something.
Cliff what?
No, just like I'm just starting to think of like a Tennessee.
I know,
name.
but like what would his last name be? Maybe.
I don't know.
Cliff Johnson.
Did you see? Here's the tweet from Tennessee football. Y'all remember how we tore the goalposts down, hauled him out of Neyland Stadium, and dumped him in the Tennessee River? Yeah, that was awesome. Anywho, turns out that in order to play next week's game, we need goalposts on our field. Could y'all help us out?
That's not official. That's not
Tennessee football.
They've got to take every dollar they raise and donate it to something because they can surely afford a couple of goalposts. And by the way, the number that they're asking for,
look at that.
Goalposts don't cost that much.
They've raised almost $94,000, and it says it's 62% funded. Goalposts can't cost that.
What they're trying to raise $150,000. There's no way each goalpost is $75,000.
You got to think with the chip shortage. What do you think, KJ?
I think it's absurd. Although I don't know what the demand is like in the market for field goal posts, especially like SEC level. I would hope that they would just call it where it is and bring in one of those badass arena field goal posts that don't have the bottom bar. They just hang from the net.
There you go.
That way you can never tear it down. My last thought on tearing down the field goal posts. Hats off to Texas Tech. They have the equivalent of the breakaway goal, built for this shit. They automatically lower their field goal posts, so you can't do this shit. The only reason that I can see being up in arms about tearing down field goal posts, I guess there's two. One, the inherent injury risk. Those are big motherfuckers, and like 20 yards out, somebody who's not paying attention to the 40 people tearing it down might have that son of a bitch land on their head. There's some risk there. But you do see the network's camera right in the middle of the field goal post, and it's there like as it's getting torn down. And I'm like, not to be that guy, but that's like $100,000 camera. Like if there's any cost to be recovered, that camera's kind of a pain in the ass. Like,
You're
that's the
speaking
one
Randy's
thing that's got to
language.
go. Like that was the one. Like we all enjoy that shot. At least let them get the camera back, and then carry on with everything else. Did y'all see any scenes of the people riding on the field goal post? Y'all have any opinions on people riding on it versus the ones who just carry or pass it along?
Yes.
Yeah, I would be a carrier. I'm not going to hop on that thing.
Oh, I'm throwing your ass
Agreed.
up there. You're riding it.
You want me to ride that motherfucker?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I think you get one photo and you get down.
I just can't get past. Someone's going to lose their job so they can buy new goalposts. And it's just
I found a website
they're
where
losing
HR.
HR.
You can request a quote on some goalposts. So
What
I'm
do you-
gonna
what do you
get
got?
back to you guys.
Okay. You want to follow up on that one?
Yeah, it might take a bit.
Okay.
Brett, who are you steaming
All right.
on? Do you want to do your segment that you wanted to do, steaming or creaming?
Steam? Oh, sure. I'll steam on the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Did you what?
Brett wanted to do a segment. He told me this before the
No,
show.
this was Dave said, "Hey, what do you think about steaming or creaming?" And I said, "Sure, I'll be the guinea pig." But that was his idea.
No, you told me that at a dinner
At dinner. When did we do dinner this week?
a while back. Okay, who are you steaming on?
Penn State fraud. They were on the might be really good list until they got whacked. In the friend, our friend Will DeFreeze mentioned they got butt fucked.
Wow, I don't think he wanted that read on air.
Jeez.
I'm just saying they did
Wait,
not
what did
go
he
well
say
in the
again?
second half.
That is such. Why is that the most aggressive way to say it?
What did he say
Yeah,
again?
he said they got butt fucked.
All right, at least say boo-foo.
BF'd, maybe.
Jeez.
Shouts to Will for his first and only midday college football tweet or group text of the year. Maybe we've had one other about UT while he was at a game, but I didn't know that's how the second half had gone. When I'd last checked in on the Michigan game, it was fairly close. So getting breaking
Same.
news from one Will DeFreeze on that game was quite nice.
Well, especially on a day where his Crimson Tide took that L, for him to stay dialed.
Again, my frauds list: Clemson, Alabama, Penn State, and USC. Fraud.
I mean,
fraud.
it's easy to pick
fraud.
teams who just lost,
That
right?
Alabama
Little-
was on it last week.
little
As was
convenient.
Clemson.
Little convenient.
Penn State is the new addition. Michigan has been switched out of the potential fraud list. Excuse me, Georgia out of
Okay.
the frauds on might be really good watch.
Oh,
Like I said,
okay.
Michigan and Tennessee have both graduated to are really good.
Defending natty champions are on might be really good.
That's a step up from last week when they
His-
were on the frauds.
His really good teams are all undefeated, by the way.
We know Ohio. We know Ohio State is good.
I think
Ohio State's good.
I
They're
still
already
think-
they're in the really good category. This is
By the
like
way,
the watch category.
Most boring Heisman race of all time. CJ Stroud is just walking away with it at this point. Is he not?
You could say he's running away with
I
it.
don't know, man. Have you gone up 35, then at the split gone 35W to Fort Worth?
You saying Max Dugan?
Damn, man.
Max?
KJ,
He's doing this
have
on
you ever
thoughts.
seen? Have you ever seen Sonny Dykes so mad in your life?
Yes.
His head almost
Actually,
exploded.
he's not a piece of shit, but yes.
He used to be a piece of shit.
Well, there was a penalty, or the ref wouldn't get out of the way of the snap. He was waiting for somebody to sub, and the play flag went down to 0. And Sonny Dykes had a conniption fit.
Yeah, he held the ref held up the offense because if the offense substitutes, the defense gets a chance to sub as well. Doesn't mean the defense has to do it in a timely fashion. So it becomes kind of a little bit of gamesmanship. They don't have a shot clock on that. It's just a safety thing. You have to let the other team also rotate off. If you're rotating on, you can't sneak a wide receiver on and, not allow defense to adjust. And so Oklahoma State was subbing their guy in, but I don't know that they were doing it with the utmost urgency. Or had confirmed that, and they also allow him to get set. So it was a cluster. But TCU should know better. You don't substitute if you're against the clock. You just have to deal with it. That's on the coach.
What are we thinking about your Horned Frogs?
I'm glad that they're doing well. I really am. I think it's tremendous to see what happens when you take 5 or 6 players off the SMU roster, including commits, replicate their entire social media presence, and put some real effort behind it. I will honestly and sincerely give them hats off to their social media coordinator. I don't know if any of y'all saw it. I didn't throw it in a group chat yet, but they threw out the most absurd shit post that any college football team has done in quite some time. On a Trill Ballins level of a shit post about their Horned Frogs being 6-0. It was done quite well.
So just a drill tweet?
Basically.
Okay.
A drill tweet. I said trill, not drill.
I need to see this.
I'll share it to the group.
Yeah. People are still high on Okie State, except for, I guess, Vegas. We'll get to that in a minute. But I just never thought they were special. And I don't think TCU's special, but it doesn't surprise me that they lost that game. Although, I have to admit, I thought they had the game in hand. And I went on about my business doing, I don't know if we were playing golf. I don't know what we were doing at that time. But so I didn't see. And then when I saw that TCU came back and won that game, it kind of blew my mind.
Yeah. I didn't watch every single bit of this game. Car stuff, driving kids and whatnot, but I was following it quite closely. So, I think your hesitance on Oklahoma State goes back to seeing them and Baylor. Baylor at a little bit more of a strength and Oklahoma State a little bit more strength, and you seeing them carry all of that credit into this season, maybe unnecessarily. Brett, I would like to add UNC to the fraud alert page.
Oh,
they're
ranked
in the teens.
Fraud. Yes.
Yeah.
One
loss team.
Yes. They're not when I say frauds, mine are just on fraud watch until they prove themselves frauds, which is why Clemson's still on there. Bama, obviously now a 1-loss team. They're still on fraud watch. When Ole Miss, they come to town, take on the Rebels, and Bama loses, then they're off the list because they're just confirmed. Penn State on the precipice as well. USC loses to a not very good Utah team. They're on the verge. So
That's a good Utah team. They're
they
not.
lost to
They're
Florida.
decent.
The first game of the season,
dog.
They're a good team. I mean, they're not a top 5 team by any stretch, but they're top 12-ish. I think.
You are the Pac-12 guy, and I apologize for going at you over the Conference of Champions, Dave. You know who might be really good, though, and is the final member of that list for myself is UCLA. The Fighting Chip Kellys.
That's a pretty good story.
What
I
do
don't
you
know
got
where
on
you fall on the
DTR?
Kelly brothers, but
DRT, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, is that what it is? DTR?
yeah.
Badass name.
Are you serious with that stomach?
That stomach did. That was
No one heard. You could have kept cool. No one heard it.
It went on
mic.
for 3 seconds.
The mic didn't hear it.
You sounded like
Chill
Smokey
out,
the
dude.
dog.
Why you gotta call me out like that?
Sorry,
I was like Smokey
man.
the dog.
It was.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
she's digesting, dog.
USC should be noted in that game. Blitnikoff winner Jordan Addison went down with a lower body leg
Oh, I
injury
didn't know
in the
that.
third.
Really?
So, yeah, I mean that's your best playmaker, and that's not good going forward for them.
Can I say
but
something I'll regret? And I don't feel good about it, but I feel like it needs to be said.
It's the point of the show.
Regarding Utah in that game, I absolutely love that they took time out of the season and went above and beyond. For those who don't know, Utah's had 2 straight years of very unfortunate incidences occur away from the team, but to 2 freshmen in consecutive years, both from West Mesquite in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. killed in different ways. I want to say one was like at a party, one was some other story. But
Gun
either way,
accident.
they've had
and
two
then-
members, car accident, I believe. But it was situations where they were back home visiting friends, both died. Best friends, like they were 20 and 21, it's a terribly sad story. Utah took time out of their game to commemorate their loss because it was a big moment for their teams in the last 2 years. I believe there's some sort of stadium dedication that they added, maybe retiring numbers. I'm not sure. So I thought that was tremendous. Even the USC players, I think, paid respects between the third and fourth quarter. The helmets.
Okay, you got to let the helmet
Man.
go.
Does it give you what is it, like airbrush vibes?
1,000%, which
Yeah.
might be fitting if you're from West Mesquite. I can see that being the option
What does that
selected.
mean?
Is it like an airbrush town?
What? Yeah, I don't understand.
I didn't know the story behind it, but I saw the helmets and I was like, this seems like it could be a sensitive subject, so I'm not going to comment on it publicly.
Well, one was murdered and the other, I think, accidentally shot himself when handling a firearm, if I'm not mistaken.
That is terrible.
Still terribly tragic.
But go ahead, KJ.
Again, I'm not going to say anything publicly, just on the podcast. I feel like they went above and beyond, and some of the beyond could have been pivoted in a way that was a little less. It's getting a flower, arrangement in the shape of the towers. That's what it feels like. Not those towers. This is a Wire reference, not those towers.
Oh, okay.
It was like,
move
who
on.
did
I
that?
was like, wait a second.
I
Was
thought
like,
you
did
meant-
Rutgers do that.
I
or
thought you
something?
meant those towers.
Do you hate the red bandana Boston College game too, KJ? Are you out on tribute games for
Oh
dead,
yes, I forgot
young
about
people?
that. Yeah, that one was that's a strong one. I like that it's a little more subtle. They just gave him a pattern.
I guess while you're riffing here, we're not doing NFL yet, but yesterday they all wore Intercept Cancer sweatshirts. Is there anything you want to do with that?
KJ is for when people do the autism awareness cleats. These
The
fine
pink
'em,
cleats?
Fine them. Yep.
He's like, we're doing pink cleats now?
Yeah.
Raising awareness? Is there not a better
Yes,
way?
I
KJ's
won't-
not
no,
afraid to go
no.
there.
No.
No.
KJ.
It was Military
Should be fumbling
Appreciation Weekend
cancer.
in Ole Miss, KJ. You watched that one by any chance? Or was
How
that?
Armed Forces Bowl, one of the worst presentations of bowl season. Everybody knows it.
No.
Let's move on. Let's move on here.
Dude, yeah. All the fuego takes. Hey, I really kind of wish TCU was a little bit more shaky because you could put them on, Brett could put them on his horn fraud list. The TCU horn frauds.
Right.
That one?
Am I right?
pretty good.
Frogs and
good.
frauds kind of sound similar.
Right,
Ooh,
so you
pretty
can-
good.
What's it, an antonym? Is that
They're
what it
pretty
is?
good though. Undefeated, man.
Yeah.
I hate
Baylor's
that I have
not
to break
good.
this out.
Young defense. Blake Shapen went out on a wicked targeting, and they lost to West Virginia. Big boy stack completely out the
Ooh,
window on
David.
Thursday. It was a tough scene for me.
Yikes.
Of course,
Yeah.
TCU hasn't faced those Texas Longhorns yet.
These two guys went to the game. They got to see.
Just an ugly game.
Just bad.
Iowa State mucked it up.
Matt Campbell over there just fucking losing his shit.
Yeah.
Stomping around like Nick Sirianni.
He is lose his shit down the sideline for sure. Sark has a little bit of personality in him too. You were saying Iowa State has a secret weapon on the sideline, Dylan?
Okay, this isn't from me. This is from, and I thought his source was Dave on it, but he may have said somebody else.
Whoa, don't put this on me.
We went with our friend Ben, who was generous enough to invite us to the game, and
Thank you, Ben.
we had a great time. But he said Iowa State's secret on defense is that they have a guy, like a savant type on the sideline
Savant type.
who doesn't wear a head, he
doesn't wear what?
He doesn't wear the headphones. He doesn't
do we?
he doesn't have a clipboard. He just sits on the sideline and he studies the signs coming in from the other sideline. on
He's trying to
offense.
recognize patterns.
Yes, and he's apparently brilliant at doing this, and that's their secret. He says
Aren't they 0-4 in
at halftime-
conference?
At halftime, they'll go. Well, they have a great defense. They have the best defense in the league.
Oh, okay, they do.
But at halftime, he'll go in and he'll go to Campbell and be like, "Look, this is what this means, and I want to tell you what to do when they make these calls." If there's truth to it, I have no idea. But there's a rumor, might be a message board thing going on. I don't know what's going on here, but it's a fun theory to buy into. He's brilliant.
A beautiful mind, maybe.
A beautiful mind. He just sits over there and dissects your shit and is like, all right, this is what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, then if that's the case, then
They're going like, this is that Xavier Worthy whip route touchdown.
he's got to get the fuck out of Iowa State. Because, I mean, dude, they've not won a conference game.
What's wrong with Ames?
They haven't won a conference game.
It ain't nothing good.
It's true.
They lost to a very average Baylor team. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Iowa
it's
State
gotta be
gets
the
a
end
lot
of the
of
road
heat.
for Matt Campbell.
What about Matt Campbell, KJ?
It's the end of the road for Matt Campbell. It has to be this year.
Really?
Which is unfortunate. I mean, I don't
Isn't he
think
a
he's
good
going to get
coach?
fired, but I guarantee he's going to take another job. I think he sees the writing
Okay.
on the wall. Him and Seth Luttrell at UNT both had windows that are Luttrell's opening his back up as they're a top conference USA, not to tie in random things here, but like both of these coaches were in the 10 names on like coaching carousel talks the last 2 years, and they didn't jump at the right time.
Doesn't Campbell get like NFL buzz weirdly?
Matt
It's
Rule
like,
might
oh,
F that
this is
for
the next-
everybody for a while.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Matt Rule ruined it for a lot of people.
Yeah, he's gonna go to the Saban rehab program.
He seems like the type. I know we talked about it last
Impatient.
week. That he's going to make $40 million a year for the next not 40 million, not a year, but for the next 5 years. But he seems like the type where he's just going to go right to Wisconsin, isn't he?
Rule?
Yeah.
No,
He'll be
they're
in a
gonna give
booth.
Leonard some
They'll
tread.
keep Jim Libbard. Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, he's gonna get. He's like the Scott Frost thing.
Well, speaking of that, I think he's more of a Wisconsin guy than a Nebraska guy. Wisconsin's definitely a better job than Nebraska.
Oh, definitely. I
Big
just think
facts.
Rule's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
go. Rule's gonna go to like Auburn when
Ooh.
Harsin gets fired.
Okay.
If Gary Patterson isn't there, but yeah.
GP.
So people are saying watch out for a coaching controversy in Austin with Gary P. and Sark.
Well,
No one's
I
saying
mean, Gary
that.
P. held Alabama to however few points it was. It was all his doing.
Maybe
Right.
Gary P.'s reading the signals. He's a savant.
He might be on Orange Bloods too.
You think?
Where am I going?
There you go.
He lives behind Dylan, right?
No, that's not Gary P. That's the other guy, Pete
Oh, shouts to Pete.
Kwiatkowski.
What else?
Ole Miss Auburn, real quick.
Here
on
we
it.
go. Main event.
Well, now they're seventh in the country. All I'm saying is that whenever you play an SEC team, you like early kick, little sleepy first half. Ole Miss goes up quick. Auburn comes back. Auburn can run the ball. Tank Bigsby, stud running back. That kid Shifty, what's his name? Ashford, moves around. I just want to say Ole Miss didn't cover, but they won. Ole Miss didn't cover, but won the game handily. Go into LSU next weekend, why they didn't make that a night game, I have no idea. Early kick again. So LSU
2:30.
kind of takes the factor out of it. But my whole point of this rant is that LSU is a favorite, or open as a favorite in that game. And I think that's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, they put up a ton of points on Florida and looked to be playing better. Anthony Richardson for Florida had like an 80-something yard touchdown run that was absurd late in the game, and they made it a closer score than what it was. I think it was like 42-21 going into the fourth. Florida lost by 7, so whatever. I see how people are feeling good about LSU. I don't know that means they've got the personnel to like be a better team already. But Ole Miss into LSU and then into A&M, I don't think that proves they're great, but I think it proves they're above the lower middle of the SEC.
They're going to have to be going into Bama 9-0 to have any real buzz. And, knock on wood that happens. And then it's like, okay, where is this team actually? Because every other team in the SEC is kind of having a weird, like Auburn, LSU, even Kentucky now has kind of
Vanderbilt.
lost their early season luster on it. But we're certainly in. We'll see. We'll see. You can't give up like 300 yards to Auburn rushing the ball, though, because they refuse Cajun to go away from the 3-man front on defense. And it's infuriating when people run the ball for 9 yards a carry and you're just like, stop letting them run up the middle, down your throat. What are you doing? Anyway, that's my Ole Miss rant. Thank you for having me.
KJ, does it surprise you that the Texas-Oklahoma State line opened up at, Was it 6?
-4.
-4.
Minus
Texas,
No, excuse me, -3.
Texas 4-point favorites
in Stillwater.
has already moved to 6.
Hold on, Dylan. Texas opened as 2.5-point dogs, and now it
No.
is 6.5. I swear to God.
There's no way it's
That
moved.
must have been the line before the week then.
There's no way it's moved over 8 points. Yeah, maybe that's right, KJ. Maybe that's before the Iowa State
maybe
game.
it is. I'm trying
No.
to find a.
Would have gone the other way.
tracker.
Yeah, it would have been before. I'm saying before the TCU game. You know what I mean?
Maybe it opened at Texas
Because-
-2.5, and now it's
It
at
did.
6.5. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either
Okay,
way,
that
I would expect Texas to be a dog on the road against a seemingly really good Oklahoma State team.
One lost team.
But they're now 6-point favorite. Don't see that.
Is Worthy health fine?
Worthy? Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't
You
go
said
down.
he went down. I'm sorry. It was Addison. You mentioned went
Yeah.
down, and Worthy was before.
Texas had a
Yeah.
DB go down, but he had a stinger or something. He's fine. So I mean, Texas is fully healthy.
Got him.
Quinn can spin it too. Cool to see that in person.
There he is. Yes, but it's not like they're coming off of a good. I don't know. If Texas had blown out Iowa State,
Maybe.
I maybe could see it.
They had some really ugly 3-and-out drives.
First half
What
was
is going
real
on?
ugly.
Their third down defense is abysmal. They can't get off the field.
Well, speaking of getting off the field, Brett, you got any parting words for the folks?
UCLA, Oregon. Going to tell you a lot about next week, both of those teams.
More Pac-12 gold.
And Kansas State at TCU. That line opened at TCU -4.5 is now -3.5. Kansas State is getting hammered with money.
Ooh,
Just saying, keep an eye out on
Be the
that
one.
game.
I like it.
Also, Syracuse. Shouts to the Orange. Ranked for the first time this high, and I have no idea how long. Undefeated. Good for them. They beat a good Purdue team a couple weeks ago.
Hey, Randy's just seething.
But
Poor
they
guy.
did. I'm sorry you had 3 dumb penalties, but they beat them.
Yeah.
Take advantage of them. Anyway, thanks for having me, guys. Cold Stove Podcast.
Hey, thanks, Brett.
Thank you, Brett. Bye.
Later.
You know what I do if I'm Brett right now?
Go sip a Vizzy or something?
Yeah.
Oh.
I just say, look, I just crushed it on a sports podcast. I'm going to have a Vizzy.
To Sally?
A Vizzy hard seltzer. Because summer's phased out, but do you think that changes the vibes? It doesn't. Not at all. I'm still rocking Vizzy. I know you are. You want something fresh during the season to change? Well, how about this? Maybe go with a variety pack. Maybe go with pineapple orange, peach orange, pomegranate orange. Those are the mimosa flavors. They're perfect for daytime sipping. And hey, I had a couple in the morning over the weekend on my golf trip. I was drinking Vizzies on the course.
Did you?
I did.
No cap?
I would not cap during an ad read. That's not something I do. The variety packs, you got one that's got strawberry kiwi, blueberry pomegranate, black cherry lime, and pineapple mango. Or maybe this is more your taste. Watermelon, strawberry, raspberry, tangerine, papaya, passion fruit, and blackberry lemon. Vizzy Hard Seltzer, flavors for every vibe. Stock up on Vizzy Hard Seltzer and show some love for the show. Here's how to get yours. Go to VizzyHardSeltzer.com/wash to find Vizzy near you. That's VizzyHardSeltzer.com/washed. And to hear first about the latest flavor drops and more, sign up at VizzyHardSeltzer.com/subscribe. Must be 21 or older. Celebrate responsibly. A Molson Coors Beverage Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Awkward pause there by me.
You crushed it, dog.
I was trying to let KJ do it since he's the local guy.
No, you were doing phenomenally. Unsolicited recommendation for those at home with hardwood floors and office chairs. You can find
But they'll set you back.
I don't know, sub $30 wheels that are like rollerblade wheels to replace your office chair wheels, like those plastic
Urethane?
ones that'll F up your floor, urethane, if you will. And they're dope. Even better, they have wheels that lock individually. What's key here is you got to remember if you lock one of those randomly to try to stay in the same spot. Because I've been sitting here during this podcast, trying to readjust where I'm sitting, and I'm like, fuck. Rug underneath my wheels is all jumbled up. I'm screwing myself up here. I almost fell out of the chair a second ago. Turns out, nope, just the wheel was locked. So apologies for any distractions there. And I lost a cookie. But that's
You're doing
unrelated.
great, KJ.
You lost a cookie?
Yeah, man. I
KJ
don't know,
does it all
man.
for the cookie.
I'm 3 straight weeks of
Monkey.
grind boy shit or being busy up until the moment we start the pod. And I panic sprint upstairs for like a protein bar or a cookie or last week an ice cream sandwich, and I can't find whatever the hell I went to go grab. So anyways, let's do some NFL.
Are you hangry? Do you want us to wait?
I'm good. I'm just all over the place.
Where do we start? Kind of a weird weekend in the National Football League, huh?
Weird how?
Just a lot of upsets. Bucks look like ass. Lost to Pittsburgh.
They stink, baby.
I think I was pretty high on them after they just absolutely dismantled a full-strength Dallas Cowboys team. I think I may have said on this show that they had the best defense in the league. The Bucks, that is. I've definitely said that about the Cowboys. I don't know what happened. Their offense looks weird. Brady was at Robert Kraft's wedding like Saturday night or Friday night or something.
Just getting hammered.
I don't know if he
Haunting
I
it.
don't know.
He was dancing his shout on the dance floor.
Probably.
Electric sliding and shit.
Probably doing all that.
Maybe. Yeah, they stink.
Can I add to your thought about the NFL being weird just in general? I was looking through the standings. Only three. There's not a team that hasn't won yet. Usually we have like a Lions or Browns, somebody in the league who's just struggling to look for their first win. There are only 3 teams with 1 win. Do you know those? I'm sorry. I've got 4 here. 4 teams with 1 win. Do you know those 4 teams?
Detroit.
Or can you guess? Okay. Or who do you think is bad is the easiest way to put it. Like
Other
who's the worst teams in the
Carolina.
league? Carolina.
Colts?
Houston.
Oh,
Nope.
Houston.
Oh, yeah.
Houston
stinks.
Texans and the Raiders. The Raiders, surprisingly, a 1-4 team. Which
Yeah.
Josh
Yeah.
McDaniel, should he have gotten a second turn or second try? Results are pointing to probably not, although that team is struggling from a depth standpoint. But anyways, the rest of the league, AFC North, tied atop, leaders are tied at 3-3. The Ravens, the Bengals. AFC South, Tennessee and the Colts, 3-3, except for the Colts are 3-2-1, so not the same, but whatever. NFC West, 3-3, Niners, Rams, and Seahawks. What I'm getting at here is like there's like a real murky middle of the NFL. Only a few teams that are just outright bad. Like the Lions, up until the week before last, had the number 1 offense in the league, even though they're at that time 1-3. And then clearly atop the league, we've got the Bills or the only undefeated team in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles.
I don't think the Eagles are in the Bills-Chiefs category. In fact, I'm almost positive they're not, as they almost blew a 20-0 lead to back up. That being said, they are good. They might be the best team in the NFC, which I don't really know who the argument would be. Packers lost yesterday. They've looked really
stink.
weird. Packers kind of stink.
Rams kind of stink.
Rams kind of stink. Other teams stink as well.
Boys, who knows what they are right now.
Yeah, we got to see Dak
Giants
get his
are
first dub of
5-1.
the year. Go ahead, KJ.
I said the Giants are 5-1.
That
They're a
That's-
pretender.
that's on Brett's fraud list. Just they're adequate. They're a wild. They could if they sneak in as a wild card, it wouldn't shock me. But they're
Daniel
not
Jones
gonna
is
win
not
the
winning a
division.
playoff game.
Ooh, these are all good clips that may bite us in the ass. But
Okay, it's Dak Prescott.
I have more confidence that Jalen Hurts wins a playoff game than I do Daniel Jones. And I still don't think Jalen Hurts is a very good quarterback.
How are you sticking to this?
Okay. Given his skill set, he's really good. Like he maximizes his ability to the max, right? Which is what maximizes mean. Yes. He doesn't throw a pass that's more than 7 yards downfield. He runs the offense very well. I think they cater the offense to him. He has really good playmakers on that team, and he gets the ball to him. He does a good job of doing that.
isn't that a
But
good quarterback?
He doesn't. He's limited in what he can do with the football. He's not a great passer of the football. He'll distribute it around the line of scrimmage, and his guys will make plays. But if you need him to make a 3rd and 9 in a key part of the game, He's not going to be able to do it. He doesn't throw the ball downfield very well at all, which is why he never does it in a game.
Interesting. I'm impressed by him. I don't think he's like, again, I don't think the Eagles in general are in that like elite class, but their defense is really good. Their secondary is like pretty nasty. Their O-line for the most part is good. So he has a lot of things that benefit him. And I think this is the first year. What year does Sirianni get there? 2 years ago? This is like the first year. I think they're kind of catering the offense to him. Like they're like, okay, maybe now he's the guy. Whereas before you were thinking, oh, they're tanking for a draft pick. They're going to try to go after, somebody the following year in the lottery picks. But I don't know. It was weird. I was thinking last night, oh, we're looking at like a 42-0. I can switch over, watch House of the Dragon. But it was not the case. I guess they took their foot off the gas and let Cooper Rush, do what he does, and that's deal.
Yeah, that's what he does. 3 interceptions.
That was the worst first half. I felt
it was
bad.
ugly. Yeah,
he was clearly not ready for that Philly crowd on a night primetime game.
Thinking about the fact that they sent Ben DiNucci into that same atmosphere. Granted, the stakes weren't nearly as high, but that's where DiNucci got his like one and only start. Like, makes me feel so bad for that guy looking back on it, because that was like a Garrett Gilbert, Ben DiNucci like split start basically. The depths have been pretty low for the Cowboys at quarterback outside of Dak.
KJ, Jalen Hurts, good or bad?
I think Jalen Hurts is very, very good. I don't think that he's like good enough to where you can put him on any team and be successful. I don't think he's, good in the way like that Lamar Jackson is good, where you feel like his skill set is so elite that it's worth building the rest of the team around him. I think seeing what the Eagles did to realize like, hey, you need more than just a bunch of 5'10" fast wide receivers around this guy to be successful, and getting A.J. Brown, like, I think that helped. And their run game protects him a lot. I was just doing a quick search to find, what is the knock on Jalen Hurts' depth of attempt? It looks like last year about 15% of his passes were over 20 yards in the air. That's down to like 6% this year, and his short yards passing is up by that difference, basically. There was a quote from Peyton Manning when responding to Nick Sirianni's statement saying, "We were watching a lot of film. We wanted him to be able to throw like Phillip Rivers does." And Peyton responded, "Phillip couldn't run out of sight in a week. Why are you having Jalen Hurts watch his film?" And I love that line. I've never heard anyone reference that in that manner. But I don't know if y'all saw the clip of Jalen Hurts, not the clip, but the graphic of his offensive coordinator situation, this being the first year since high school where he's had consecutive OCs.
I did see that.
I think that's always like important to remember with some quarterbacks.
It is.
But what was more impressive to see was like the list of OCs that he's had. Brian Dable at Alabama, Lane Kiffin at Alabama.
Steve Sarkisian.
Sarkisian as well. And then, why am I completely blanking? Luke. Wow. What's USC's coach?
Lincoln Riley.
Lincoln Riley. Thank you.
Look,
all of these high quality head coaches, like as an OC. So he's got not pedigree, and Doug Peterson somewhere in there as well.
Were you going to say Luke Ridnour?
No. I was going to say Luke Riley, but it didn't sound right.
Okay.
All of these high quality coaches that has had a presence around, even if it's not a consistent system, I think he's had the ability to learn from a lot of people. So even if his skill set isn't great, that's a lot more to deal with than, what some of his some other people you might compare him to have had.
My official take on Jalen Hurts is this. He's a good quarterback, but there are a lot of things he can't do that other better quarterbacks can.
Okay. All right.
But if
they can
win, if they can win with him just distributing the ball 7 yards downfield to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, that's fine if that's all he needs to do. And it's obviously a winning formula so far.
Why can't Mike Tirico get past momentum?
I don't know if you guys realize here in the stadium, the momentum just shifted on that play. And I don't want to say it. We might have a game.
Dude, I counted from him alone 5 momentum drops yesterday. I think Collinsworth got in on it. I don't really care.
Collinsworth does the thing I hate the most where he tries to like disclaimer it. I don't want to be the guy that talks about momentum, but I felt something change after this play.
It just feels like something's different. That's my Collinsworth. I've not worked on it. I'll try it.
Here's a guy.
God.
I don't know. As a Cowboys fan, I would recommend, I'm not a Cowboys fan, I should say that. To Cowboys fans, I would recommend reminding yourself that even with Dak, I don't think the Cowboys were favored last night. Without Dak, they definitely weren't favored last night. And I think it's a weird feeling or a weird sentiment to see, like, as that game was going south, everyone was like, Cooper's not your guy. One pick was like, off of a wide receiver's hands and then intercepted. If that Noah Brown catch stands, like if their defense, stops any up the middle runs last night, like not everything was on Cooper. I'm not saying Cooper's your guy, but it was weird to like package it all and saying like, oh, if Dak was there, we'd win by 20. It's not a Quinn Ewers situation.
No, I agree with that. And that last interception, he was hit as he's throwing the ball, and you can't really tally that up to just a bad throw. But yeah, I feel like it's so funny, man, because you don't really, I guess maybe we don't talk to people that actually were like, oh, dude, Cooper Rush, dude, you got to ride the hot hand. But that narrative gets like thrown out on like the ESPN's the burnt pizza show or whatever it is, and like it becomes a thing to where they're even talking about it last night, and I'm like, who's actually nobody actually believes that. It's insane.
Dak coming back for what? The Lions and the Jags, right? Question mark.
Lions next week, I think. Yeah, Jags the following week, if I'm not mistaken. Jags are definitely in the next 3 weeks.
I think that's a great situation to be in. I've heard all about Dak's ability to grip a ball and then cut to commercial and hearing about Dak's ability to get all 8 hours of power sleep while wearing a fucking duster.
And watch him get tackled by the Real Housewives or whatever. God.
Which the ladies' calves look absurd in that commercial next time you see it. Like it goes full thigh straight to ankle.
I know what you're talking about. I'm an ankle guy.
Robbie Anderson kicked out of the game yesterday by interim head coach Steve Wilkes. Traded today to the Cardinals because Hollywood Brown is potentially out for the year. I don't know that I've ever had a strong opinion on him, but he definitely seems like somebody who has a desire to be heard more than he's seen, like being very good. He had like 1 or 2 good years in New York, and
he's a good waiver wire plug and play pickup if you need him. If you need 8 points.
Yeah, and that's all. I mean, when I saw this, I'm like, is he good enough to be throwing these tantrums? Like, I get that he's not happy there, but like,
what was the reason for the tantrum? He wasn't getting looks or what?
I think he's just been going into the season like
just frustrated.
Didn't believe in Matt Rule. Probably didn't believe in Baker.
Which is weird because Matt Rule was his college coach.
Who?
Matt Rule was his college coach at Temple.
Oh.
And then Sam Darnold being brought back was not something he was happy about either, because he was very happy to not have Sam Darnold.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, but I got to give a shout out to the Panthers organization for trading him the next day, like, and not letting that fester. That's pretty impressive. I feel like you don't see that kind of turnaround on something like that.
Yeah, they got Arizona on the line like as the game was ending.
Which I don't know what they got in return, but I don't know.
Steve Wilkes was previously employed by the Cardinals, so I imagine there's some sort of connection that led to it being there. We've already talked through good or not, I guess, outside of the Vikings. Any quick thoughts on Kirk Cousins, his chains, or the Vikings being good at 5-1?
He's just such a cool guy who I think everybody likes.
You like that?
Yeah.
He
famously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The Vikings are like the sneakiest no, I guess nobody can be sneakier 5-1 than the Giants, but the Vikings are sneaky 5-1 as well.
First-year head coaches too.
Yeah. No, I don't know, man. It's last thing on the Cowboys. Your backup you went what 4-1 with your backup? No, 3-1 with your backup. That's phenomenal.
4-1.
4-1.
4-1. They're 4-2.
All of their wins. Yeah.
4-1 with your backup, and that's insane. It's insane to me. So, I don't know. I'm not going to let last night ruin my Cooper Rush experience completely, but whatever. I got some good news.
Hope you're talking about DraftKings.
Hockey fans. It's finally time to hit the ice again, and thanks to DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you're in for the season of a lifetime. New customers can bet $5 on any team and get $200 in free bets if they win. I mean, we were talking with Brett about our Stars, your Knights.
3-0.
Both off to hot starts. I'm all over that. Betting hockey is a lot of fun. If that wasn't enough excitement, you can turn small bets into bigger bet payouts with same-game parlays, combine multiple bets like which team will win, how many goals will be scored, and more for your shot at an even bigger payout. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. You can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code WASHED. Bet $5 on any NHL game or any NHL team, to win their game and get $200 in free bets if they do. That's code WASHED at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions do apply. See show notes for details. All right, KJ, you're the resident seam head here. Break down every series for us and what we can look forward to.
Here's 30 seconds on baseball. The Astros have done it again. I don't know how I became a very, very brief Mariners fan, but somewhere in their 17-inning loss, it was very, very difficult not to be like, man, these people have been sitting around with no alcohol at all, watching their team try to take down the Astros, or at least, buy themselves another day, and they couldn't quite get it done. At some point, you got to give credit to the Astros. That point's not today, but kudos to them in 6 straight ALCS appearances. Philly and the Padres, we get some Nick Castellanos presence in the NLCS. Real tough outing for the Dodgers and the Braves being bounced. And then we got a Game 5. So a reminder that baseball is absolutely stupid, with the first series being a best of 3, the second being a best of 5, and then 2 best of 7 series. So pivotal Guardians-Yanks game.
I hated to see my Padres take down my Dodgers, but I was happy for you, Darvish. Always root for you. Will always be one of my all-time faves.
Yeah, he cut a raw deal with the whole the opposing team knowing what he was throwing situation.
The Astros just needed that Iowa State savant. Maybe they could have avoided the whole banging on a trash can thing.
I hate that the Astros are good, but they're really good.
Oh, they're very really good. Then they've got a young guy, Pena, who's quite fun to see as well. Julio Rodriguez is exciting. If you ever find yourself without enough things to do that you're watching baseball, and then also multiply that, and you're going to get a chance to watch the Mariners. Julio Rodriguez for the Mariners, quite entertaining.
Are we on a collision course with Yu Darvish redemption against the Astros in the World Series?
I hope so. I need to go back and count, and I'm sure the surgery he had, Fernando Tatis, there's no chance he's back or off suspension, but I'm pretty sure he had a 40-game suspension. And
I think it was more than that.
Was it more than that? Was it the next level? Because it goes 40 and then 80 or 90.
It was around half a season-ish in games, something like that. It was a big time suspension. I mean, as well as they're playing, that's without Tatis in the lineup. That's a very talented team.
80 games.
80 games,
yeah. He gone. You're right.
40, yeah, I'm pulling for the Yankees tonight. I want to see Yankees and Astros face off in the ALCS. Those are teams that still hate each other after what went down in the ALCS years ago with the whole cheating scandal. So I hope that happens. Also, the Yankees have the best chance to knock the Astros off. We'll see.
I can't ride with the Guardians. I think it's a trash name.
It is.
It's just bad. And I know the other name was bad, I guess. I don't know. The logo was bad. But it's just, you got to do something better. You get a chance. It's like every kid's dream. You get to name a sports franchise. You get to do
Guardians.
something fun and like something dope, like a sick animal that fucks shit up. The Guardians.
Of the galaxy.
Ugh.
Come on.
Ugh.
Give me a break.
Let's sports party.
Time to party. This is the part of the pod where we party and podcast at the same time.
Got a little clip for you fellas right off the top because I can't avoid talking about those who we've lost. Except for this time, it's not me.
Same guy that said Josh Allen was clearly the best guy in his draft class. And I said Baker Mayfield is overrated as hell. Do you guys want to remember I said that? And I also said Daniel Jones would be the second quarterback drafted when he came out ahead of this guy, this Haskins, that everybody raved about, that I knew would struggle in the National Football League. The reason I'm basing, I know it, and I shouldn't have said it, but I'll say this. I only base it on 30 years coaching.
What did Stephen A. say?
Well, God rest his soul. And Michael Irvin sitting there at the same table.
I don't want to like be insensitive here, but is it okay to talk about someone who's passed if the context is about like the sport in which they played?
Yeah,
It's
because
wildly unnecessary to remind people you said he would be terrible at his job.
He
Like,
didn't use
after
the word
his guy.
terrible. Did he? Maybe like overrated.
I think
or
he said
something.
not ready for the NFL or would not. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think
We
what he
just
said
heard it,
is
but-
like so bad.
No,
I mean, yeah,
but-
it was he clearly like wasn't
If you
thinking
wanna-
about the fact that the guy had just passed away.
If you want to do it, you could just be like, yeah, I always thought. Who was he talking about? Baker? Or no, whoever was talking about. Like, oh yeah, they're better,
Daniel
better.
Jones. Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I think he would end up being a better pick than Haskins. It was just kind of like this guy, this
Yeah.
Haskins guy.
I think he even did air quotes, didn't he?
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
just,
It's like that's his actual last name, by the way.
and all of it is just made so much worse when you see the visual and see Rex Ryan's insanely white teeth.
Why did he go with the insanely white teeth?
It,
I don't know how else to put it. He obviously got veneers, but he went like they're like cartoonish.
no, drink a glass of wine or something,
Yeah,
dude.
jeez.
Fucking dim it down. Might have to put my blue light blockers on to talk to you.
Looks ridiculous.
They bring him the always very awkward, like every tooth is a different shade of like yellow or natural like look that you can add to the veneers. And he's like, nah, fuck that. Just give me the first one. Like most people are like, you know what? I kind of want them to look real. He's like, no, bolt those sons of bitches on.
That's like a $60,000 mouth. That was not cheap. And you know what? Let me just say, whoever mentioned God rest his soul, he didn't have to do that.
It was Stephen A. I'm pretty
He
sure.
made it a little bit.
And Michael Irvin, they both fell over themselves to jump in line to say, oh, well, and all respects for the families.
Yeah, I mean, to talk about him as like not a good quarterback, you need to be sensitive in the way you deliver that. But I do think it's in bounds to say,
The guy's riffing.
yeah,
You could have just said best in his draft. I would have thought he was the best in his class because, again, Daniel Jones was only drafted, I think, behind Haskins. So, or maybe those other guys were on the list, Baker too.
Was
but
it-
still, just say that I thought he was the best in his class.
was it
Once you
Schefter?
get to the Haskins name.
Was it Schefter with a really bad tweet about Haskins? When
That was
announcing it-
one of them where he threw all of his stats in his death.
announcing that he
Biggest
like,
bust
while
ever.
announcing that he passed away, he also mentioned that he struggled like a great deal in the NFL. Like, dude, you don't have to say that.
Yeah, we know, man. We follow the sport.
The guy's family's like dealing with his death right now. We don't need this in their face.
Notably had a completion percentage under 20% when passes were over 20 yards.
We got to give a farewell. I hate to do something sad here in the sports party. This is the part where we party and talk sports. But former executive VP of football ops for the Texans, Jack Easterby, is out.
That guy stinks.
You seem to be from God because you're doing some miracles and you're walking on water and all that stuff. Like, that's a pretty good deal. By the way, y'all think Jesus like paused on water and like shot out to the fish? That's funny right there. I laugh at that all the time. I'm like, man, Jesus walking on water like, hey, what's up, fish? Right, one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Y'all, hey, turn your mics back up. The people want to hear you laugh.
How do you not fire him right when that clip is made public?
Dude, who fell for that? Who fell for that? Who let that?
Who thinks that's funny?
Wasn't he the team
Okay.
chaplain?
And this is at a church like speech. I should say this isn't at like Hard Knocks, him speaking to a locker room. He
It's a
would have got
sermon.
shit thrown at him. This was at like a lock-in type Wednesday night at the church situation. If you're saying who's falling for that, I'm only going to play the first few seconds of this because we do get some egregious buy-in.
And then like you go down to the Midwest, right? Like you get into the like the Bobby's world, don't you know? Like you get into the don't you know? Like don't you know we're playing Minnesota? Like Minnesota here in the crowd, so everybody's chanting about Minnesota, don't you know? And I know we're down 15, but don't you know we're gonna come back, don't you know?
Offensive.
And then like you get down to Texas, right? And the belt buckles come out. I mean, they just all have the can't help it, right?
And that's the part that kills me. Somebody chimes in and says, I got one on right now. And I'm like, yeah, you got a belt buckle on? Congrats,
That is
bruh.
the lowest
None of the-
form of comedy.
None of these things even happened.
It's lower than podcasting.
These things they don't happen.
No.
You might see like a couple guys with belt buckles.
That is bad. That would be bad if that was like Southwest Texas University's orientation speaker. That's that fact that man was put in like a position of power on an NFL franchise blows my
That
effing
guy
mind.
doesn't have a single friend.
Okay.
Unless they're trying to use him for his status to get like dope tickets or something. No one likes that guy.
I think
Dope Texans ticks. Got to get to the Davis Mills show.
Oh, that franchise. Well, good for them. They got rid of this jackass.
Oh, shout out to his family.
it
this
did
here
give
says
us this opportunity, though.
That's funny right there.
Okay.
You know your joke misses when you follow up with "that's funny" right there. Just to let people know
That's
that
funny
that
right
was in
there.
fact a joke that you just shared with everybody.
What's the deal with the Titans getting domed, KJ?
Oh, the city of Nashville, which, you know, is always at the bottom of like cities for tourism and just completely lacks reasons to go visit the city. Nobody ever wants to move there. It's not like constantly ranked to top places that people want to go to. Has decided to agree to, or at least the mayor has, agreed to a $2.2 billion new stadium for the Tennessee Titans that will have a dome on it. Which Nashville's weather is sneaky, like not all that great in the fall and winter. But the ownership is going to pay $800 million. The city putting up another $500K, and then the whole $1 or 1 cent, whatever, added to hotel taxes to pay up the rest. As I am one who was originally from the city of Arlington, city that leads the nation in just giving money over to build stadiums. It makes sense because we're Arlington. We don't have shit else. It's all we got. Like, please stop in our city is like our motto. Nashville doesn't need to do this bullshit, but they are. So shouts to them.
Can I say what I'm about to say is not going to make a lot of sense, but I think the Titans, they need to play in a dome. They're the most dome-like team, the Titans. Like, when I think of teams playing in the dome, I think of like the future, even though they've been around for a long, long time. But the Titans, you see what I'm saying? They're not like a grid. Okay, first of all, they're a relatively new franchise. Obviously, Oilers moved there, whatever. You know, they're not like an outdoor grinded out team. I'm just when I think of Titans, I think they need to be in a dome. None of that makes sense. I really have no reasoning as to why, but when I think of that,
like logo and branding, isn't it?
it looks robotic.
Yeah.
Or like future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, man?
It looks like a generic like default setting on a video game or something.
Okay.
You're like, all right, this is terrible. I got to change this, but that's what they give you to start off with.
Okay.
In the same folder as the Guardians logo.
What I just said is really probably bad and dumb, but I just
There's
had to
something
put it
there.
out there. There's something there. I'm going to work through it. It's half baked. Well, it'll be full baked here in a couple of weeks when I bring it back.
I just don't think
Also-
Nashville is a dome city though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll save all the reply guys from telling you that Derrick Henry is like the epitome of grind out wins. We get it. Vrabel, hard nose, whatever. That's like 3 years of their 25-year history.
It's more the uniforms for me. It's the aesthetic. The aesthetic is attach it to domes. That's what I mean. Like the Browns, you wouldn't say the Browns need to never be in a dome.
Fair.
Titans. Anyway, that
Are we
was a
getting
good
more
sports
Chuck
point.
or what?
Huh?
Are we getting more Chuck?
Chuck, 10-year deal, north of $100 million.
Love me some Chuck.
Did he leverage the Live Tour stuff with to get that big payday? He was going to get it anyway, but remember, he was like saying, for the right price. Good for him.
I want to point out that the headlines today is that said Barkley shelves retirement talk, signs $140 million deal or whatever, $140 million deal, and I'm like, if he pivoted from using the Live Tour as leverage on to like, you know what, I'll just retire. Like, shouts to his agent for just saying we'll play any card we need to. Fucking pay us, and they did it as they should have. Jesus Christ. And lastly, I did see this story as well that Buffalo Bills safety Jordan Poyer had a collapsed lung, but was cleared to play. Doctors were concerned about the pressurization inside of the cabin of the airplane, so they want him to fly to the game. So the Bills arranged for he and his family to drive from Buffalo to Kansas City in a van. I assume like a big van. There and back. He played 100% of the snaps, got 4 tackles. It is a contract year. And he asked for a new contract in the offseason, hadn't received it. So it is kind of a big year for him.
Damn.
Love it. Still John Madden method, man.
Yeah.
Remember that?
15 hours is too long.
Big bus guy.
Big bus guy. As someone who just did 4 hours
Afraid to fly.
each way. I follow you.
You see?
Yeah, I do. That's what I said. I followed you. Sheesh.
Good for him. That's a cool story.
That is a cool story.
I'm glad that he was able to play the entire game and still had a good game. It would have been terrible for him to get there and, I don't know, like an elbow contusion knocks him out in the first quarter. Now you can't drive home and your elbow fucking hurts. Like, and they got the win. So all boxes were checked that it was a positive experience, except I would have been like, hey, team, can you just say, like, for COVID reasons, I don't want my whole family in the bus van for 15 hours. Like, maybe this is a solo gig.
Facts.
Give me a cryo chamber.
Let's run it
Fucking
back.
shit my ass.
You ready to run it back already? All right, let's do it. Of course, Run It Back is a segment during which we talk about what we already talked about. The Golden Knights are unsurprisingly 3-0.
It surprised everyone in the room.
We had to teach Brett today because he didn't know that. Our logo is not a nacho. It is, in fact, a chip that's been dipped in queso.
2 different things.
Very big difference there. Smokey, Tennessee's mascot, is a blue tick coonhound and just a dope dog all around, Dave.
Cool dog.
Brett's new Seggy, Steamin' or Creamin', set to debut next week.
It's a big hit.
Penn State got butt fucked.
Jesus.
A direct quote by our friend Will DeFries, who I'm sure is really happy we've discussed this at length on this podcast.
Randy's going to do some editing here in the next couple of days.
Jalen Hurts is
Good
fine.
family photo.
Jalen Hurts is fine. He's good at what he does. And finally, Dave got dome in Nashville. Oh, I don't know who added that. Is that true?
What'd you get in Dallas?
That's pretty irresponsible of you.
That concludes Run It Back.
That's interesting, man. I feel like I can go back and see who edited this document.
More than me, man. I don't do stuff like that.
Shout out to our sponsors, Vizzy Hard Seltzer and DraftKings. Shout out to Brett for hopping on. Shout out to KJ for just bringing the heat.
Hey, shout out to you, Davey.
Shout out to me for having one of the best Titans takes of the season.
People will be talking about that for years.
Dylan was here too.
I was here.
I'll put it up there on the mantle with us hearing about the Ole Miss 3-down lineman defense that was giving up a lot of yardage in their win this weekend. Facts that we definitely needed.
All right, let's go.
Your
Bye-bye.
milkshake. I drink it up.
Bring them dibs.